The engagement party had been going on for a while, but my boyfriend was nowhere to be seen. I called him countless times, but no one answered, until I saw a post from his ex. Someone's been working nonstop for days, but just because I asked, he came to swim with me. The attached photo was a selfie of her and my boyfriend at the pool. In the background, a wedding suit had been casually tossed aside. Facing a room full of guests, I announced that the engagement was off. After 6 years of loving him, I was exhausted. The guests had all left when Carrie finally called. I felt a wave of irritation but, against my better judgment, answered. His voice was impatient, indifferent. "Come pick me and Agatha up from XX Club." I lowered my gaze, my tone cold. "I'm nearby." The club was only 200 meters from the hotel where our engagement party had been. "Why are you nearby?" The next second, he let out a sudden, knowing ah. "Oh, I forgot today. Let's just reschedule the engagement. Come pick us up first." I didn't respond, so he continued. "It's just an engagement. Stop being dramatic and come get me." Right. Just an engagement. To him, my feelings, my efforts, they meant nothing. Before the engagement, he insisted he had to go on a business trip. Promised he'd be back the day before. He did come back. Only to spend time with Agatha. I hung up on him, my chest tightening. On social media, Carrie had just updated his feed. My boy just loves staying active. The photo? Agatha in a swimsuit, posing seductively by the pool. A wave of nausea rolled through me. I scoffed. At that moment, I realized just how unnecessary I was in this relationship. 6 years of devotion disappeared in an instant. Carrie didn't come home until 2 a.m. The living room was cluttered with several suitcases, all his. I glanced at his disheveled collar, faint traces of something suggestive visible on his skin. He frowned, annoyed. "Elsie, what the hell is your problem?" I stopped packing, my voice like ice. "We're done. Move out." "Are you serious?" "I just forgot about the engagement. You know how busy I've been." I let out a cold laugh. "Too busy to remember your own engagement, but not too busy to go swimming with someone else? Where's the suit I got you?" Guilt flashed across his face. His lips pressed together. "I don't know. Probably lost it. I'll pay you back." He pulled out his phone and started transferring money. 20,000 should cover it, right? The anger I'd been suppressing all night exploded. Not even close. "You knew how much that suit meant to me. My late grandfather designed it. It's priceless." He scoffed, exasperated. "So? Fine, I'll add another 10,000. That enough?" A notification popped up. 30,000, received. He looked unconcerned. "All right, I'm tired. Let's just sleep on it." With that, he shut himself in the guest room, slamming the door behind him. I stared at the closed door, the last bit of warmth in my heart extinguished. I picked up my phone and dialed. "Hey, David? Can you help me find a good moving company?" Maybe out of guilt, he got up early and made breakfast. He lifted a sandwich toward me. "Cheese and bacon. Your favorite." This was his routine. A half-hearted attempt to smooth things over. A cheap trick to cover up his mistakes. Before, I might have fallen for it. But today, I wasn't playing along. "I'm not hungry." My voice was emotionless. "I'm heading to work." As I reached the garage, he ran after me, slightly out of breath. "Let's go to the office together." I raised a brow, surprised. "Didn't you say we should keep our distance?" He was a shareholder in the company. I was a project manager. He'd always insisted we keep our relationship a secret, even at work. Acted like he barely knew me. Realizing his contradiction, he awkwardly explained. "No one's really around in the garage." I didn't argue. I just opened the passenger door. But the seat was piled high with plush toys. A sticker on it read, "Agatha's reserved seat." He looked embarrassed, hurriedly shoving the toys into the back seat. "Agatha catches rides with me a lot. She's just messing around." A bitter taste spread in my mouth. I wasn't allowed to leave as much as a stray hair in his car. Once, I accidentally left an ID badge behind. He threw it at me, warning me that next time, he'd toss it in the trash. And now? He let another woman fill his car with childish toys. I watched him struggle to clean up and said irritably, "Forget it. I'll drive myself." I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. "Let me drive. We haven't spent much time together lately." I glanced at his anxious expression but said nothing. We were almost late, I didn't have time to argue. On the way, he made small talk. I barely responded. Then, his phone rang. Agatha's voice came through the car's Bluetooth. "Carrie. I don't feel well." A bad feeling crept up my spine. Carrie instantly panicked. "What's wrong? Where are you?" "Hold on, I'll be right there." He turned to me, voice urgent, commanding. "Get out at the next exit. I need to turn around." We were on a busy overpass, traffic everywhere. He expected me to get out here? I stared at him in disbelief. "Are you insane? This is..." His eyes turned cold. I shut up. This wasn't new. Every time Agatha called, he dropped everything and ran to her. No point arguing. He must have realized how harsh he sounded because he added, "The office is nearby. Agatha has no one else here, just me. You understand, right?" I said nothing and got out. He sped off without a second thought. Cold wind slipped down my collar, making me shiver. I pulled out my phone to call a ride. A passing car clipped me, knocking me aside. My skin scraped against the pavement. At the hospital, I sat in a plastic chair, waiting for my X-ray. Then, Carrie called. "Are you seriously skipping work just to sulk? Your project has a big presentation today. I heard you still haven't shown up. You're an adult. Stop mixing personal issues with work. Do that again, and you're fired." I opened my mouth to explain. To tell him I got hit by a car and was at the hospital. But he didn't give me the chance. He hung up before I could say a word. I stared at my phone, feeling like ice water had been poured over me. Then, I looked up. Carrie was walking past me, carefully supporting Agatha. His face was full of worry. He whispered to her gently, reassuringly. I had never been treated like that. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Forget it. I was done. Really, truly done. Leaving the hospital, I felt like my entire body was falling apart. I called a moving company and had Carrie's things sent to Agatha's place. Sitting alone in the now empty living room, I let my mind go blank. Suddenly, the front door was flung open. Carrie stood at the entrance, furious. "Elsie. What the hell is this? You skip work just to send all my stuff to Agatha's house? Are you out of your mind?" I lifted my gaze at him indifferently, and only then did he notice the bandages wrapped around me. You're hurt?" "Yeah, got into a car accident on my way to work this morning." Guilt flickered across his face, but he quickly put up a defensive front. "Well, it's not like I caused your accident. What gives you the right to send my stuff away?" I spoke calmly, my tone icy. "Carrie, let's break up." He frowned. "Don't say things you don't mean." I sighed. "I'm not saying this out of anger. I mean it. It's over. I'll step aside and let you be with Agatha." A flash of irritation crossed his face, as if he'd been exposed. "You're always jealous for no reason. You have no idea how sick I am of this. Just don't come begging me to take you back after we break up." For 3 years, we had fought over Agatha countless times. It was always him who said we should break up, and it was always me who swallowed my pride and begged him to stay. Not anymore. I refused to keep degrading myself like that. "Leave. I won't regret it. We're done." I looked at him with unwavering determination. His expression darkened. He shot me a glare before slamming the door behind him. Watching the door shut, I reminded myself to change the locks tomorrow. As soon as I arrived at the office, my boss called me into his office. "There's been a change in your position." He went on to explain that my role had been revoked. The major project I had been handling was being reassigned to Agatha. He patted my shoulder with a sympathetic look. "You're highly capable, and the company values you. But did you offend someone recently? Who else could it be besides Carrie?" He had never liked the fact that I was doing well at work. He thought I was overshadowing Agatha. He had even hinted before that I should quit, saying it wasn't a good look for us to work in the same company. Now, he didn't even bother with hints, he just had my position taken away outright. I kept my expression neutral and forced a smile. I understand. But inside, I was seething, humiliated and furious. When I returned to my office, I saw Agatha directing a few coworkers to pack up. She turned and smiled at me smugly. Sorry, but this office belongs to me now. She pointed at a pile of boxes in the corner. I packed up your stuff. You should take it. I clenched my fists as I looked at my personal belongings tossed carelessly aside. Without saying a word, I walked over and picked up the box. It was light, just a few professional books and a small decorative plaque Carrie had given me, engraved with wishing you success. As I walked out, passing Agatha, she sneered, "Take care. I won't be seeing you out." I stopped and turned to her, a cold smile curling my lips. Agatha, you better pray that one day you don't end up at my mercy. The company we were working with had only agreed to this project because of me. Now that I was gone, there was no guarantee it would move forward. I had already decided to resign. A headhunting firm had been reaching out to me for a while, offering far better opportunities. But because of Carrie, I had always turned them down. Looking back now, I was an absolute fool. I had given up so much for a man who never even loved me. As I walked, my foot suddenly caught on something, and I stumbled forward. My box crashed to the ground, its contents spilling everywhere. The plaque shattered into pieces. A sharp pain shot through my knee, my barely healed wound had split open again. "Oh dear, are you okay?" Agatha's voice was laced with undisguised glee. "You really should be more careful. Maybe you need glasses?" Someone had clearly stuck their foot out to trip me. Several coworkers gathered around, whispering, but none of them offered to help me up. I let out a cold laugh, staring at Agatha's fake concerned face. "Don't celebrate too soon. Watching you gloat is disgusting." Her face twisted. "What did you just say?" Before I could answer, Carrie appeared out of nowhere. Seeing me on the ground, instead of showing concern, he immediately started scolding me. "Elsie! What are you doing here instead of working? Always causing trouble." I struggled to my feet, my knee burning with pain. Carrie finally noticed the blood trickling down my leg and reached out to help me, but I shoved his hand away. "Save your fake concern. Get lost, both of you." His face turned ugly, but he didn't say a word. I limped away, letting the blood drip down my leg. I went straight to HR and handed in my resignation. Walking out of the company, I pulled out my phone and called the headhunter. "That position you mentioned before. I'm interested now." The manager on the other end sounded thrilled. "Really? That's fantastic, Ms. Elsie. When would you be available to discuss the details?" "Tomorrow." I hung up, feeling lighter than I had in years. Leaving this place, leaving Carrie, wasn't such a bad thing after all. When I arrived at the headhunting firm, the manager greeted me warmly. After some small talk, he placed a contract in front of me. "This is the position we discussed. A 7-figure annual salary, plus stock options. What do you think?" I glanced at the contract and froze. "XX Corporation?" The manager smiled. "So you've heard of the Zhou Group?" "That's right. They specifically requested you. They said you're an outstanding talent, someone they absolutely don't want to miss out on." Just then, the office door opened, and a familiar figure stepped in. It was Frank, the executive from XX Corporation. He extended a hand, smiling. "Ms. Elsie, it's been a while." I shook his hand mechanically, my mind reeling. He got straight to the point. "I heard you left your company?" I nodded, unsure what to say. "To be honest, if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have worked with them in the first place. Now that you're gone, we're pulling the project. Mr. Frank, please don't let my situation affect your business decisions." He waved a hand dismissively. "As long as you join us, you don't need to worry about any of that. So, what do you say?" I barely hesitated before saying, "I'm in." As soon as I stepped out of the headhunting firm, my phone rang. It was Carrie. I hesitated for a moment before blocking his number. We had broken up, what was the point of holding on? The new company moved at a fast pace, but I adapted quickly. I wasted no time assembling my own team and diving into a new project. Honestly, I thrived on challenges and pressure. It was nothing like before, where every day felt like slowly boiling in warm water. Then, an old colleague reached out. Ever since I left, my former company had turned into a complete mess. The higher-ups had scrapped the project, and management was furious. Carrie got a brutal scolding. But he insisted on keeping Agatha, saying she was capable and should stay in charge. The result? She ran the ongoing project into the ground. Mistakes piled up every day, the client had come to complain multiple times, and the company had lost a significant amount of money. I listened, unsure how to feel. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a trace of schadenfreude, but more than anything, I just felt resigned and exasperated. My colleague went on, the whole company is in chaos right now. Employees are miserable. A bunch of key staff members have already quit. The people you trained? They're all gone. Something stirred inside me. My current team could use more hands. And those key employees? I had personally mentored them, they were competent and loyal. Who left? I asked. He listed off a few names. Every single one had been a core member of my old team. I nodded. Got it. Thanks for telling me. I reached out to the former team members who had quit. None of them hesitated, they all accepted my offer immediately. Within days, my team was complete. These were my people. We worked seamlessly together, just like old times. I felt that same rush from before, leading my team through challenges and breakthroughs. Then, Carrie somehow found out. He showed up at Joe Corp, causing a scene. Elsie. Haven't you had enough? Mr. Carey, this is not the place for your tantrums, I said coolly, not even bothering to stand. His eyes blazed with fury, his chest rising and falling rapidly. You left the company, and now you're stealing my employees? Elsie, I never knew you were this ruthless. Ruthless? I let out a short laugh. For the record, they quit before they joined me. If we're talking about being ruthless, let's not forget who threw away my wedding dress and went swimming with another woman. At the mention of that dress, Carrie's face turned pale. He pressed his lips together. Maybe there was a misunderstanding between us? I saw Agatha's IG post. His expression shifted, and he softened his voice. That was my mistake. I'm sorry. Please, come back. If you come back, I'll restore your position immediately. I'll let go of the past. I scoffed. Carrie, are you still dreaming? Go back? Keep dreaming. His face darkened instantly. Elsie. Don't be so ungrateful. Who do you think you are? Without me, you. I didn't let him finish. I waved to security. Get this crazy man out of here. Lately, everything had been smooth sailing for me. I landed several major projects in a row. Frank was so pleased that he treated the whole team to a celebratory dinner. The atmosphere got livelier as the drinks flowed. After a few rounds, I got up to use the restroom. Just as I turned the corner in the hallway, I heard a familiar voice. Look at you, you can't do anything right. You're about to mess up this project too. Carrie. Instinctively, I slowed my steps and hid in the shadows. Agatha sounded pitiful. Carrie, I really tried. When Elsie was here, did projects ever go wrong? And you? You keep screwing up. Do you even know what you're doing? Agatha's voice was low and pleading. Carrie, don't be mad. I swear I'll do better than Elsie. Then, Carrie seemed to sense something and glanced in my direction. His eyes lit up, and he rushed toward me. Elsie. Agatha's expression twisted. She grabbed his arm. Carrie, where are you going? I ignored them and walked into the restroom. A moment later, Agatha followed. Her face was stormy, her eyes full of hostility. She stopped beside me and gritted her teeth. Elsie, don't get cocky. Carrie is mine, you can't take him from me. I washed my hands, dried them slowly, then looked at her with an amused smile. Oh? Is that so? I don't pick up trash. Congratulations. Hope you two have a long and happy life together. Agatha's face went ashen, her fists clenched so tightly they trembled. When I walked out, Carrie was waiting outside the restroom. His voice was gentle, almost reproachful. Elsie, why are you being so cold to me? We His face held that familiar, tender smile I hadn't seen in a long time. I cut him off, suddenly irritated. Carrie, we broke up. Can you drop the act? His smile stiffened, his eyes turning red at the edges. Elsie, do 6 years together mean nothing to you? Are you really throwing away everything we had so easily? If you cared about those 6 years, I said calmly, you wouldn't have disappeared on our engagement day to go swimming with another woman. Elsie, I know I messed up, I wasn't thinking straight. His eyes were red. I used to fall for this. Now, it just disgusted me. I sighed. If you have something to say, say it. Otherwise, I'm leaving. He quickly grabbed my arm. Elsie, doesn't your company have a new project? I was hoping, maybe we could work together. I raised an eyebrow. Mr. Carey, that's something you should discuss with Mr. Frank, not me. Elsie, I know you're still mad at me, but... I interrupted him. I don't mix personal matters with business. Not wanting to waste another second, I walked back to the private room. The next few days, Carey was everywhere. At my office entrance. In the parking lot. Even outside my apartment building. He kept calling and texting, begging for my forgiveness. At first, I picked up a few times. Then, I just blocked him. One morning, as I arrived at the office, I saw him standing at the entrance, holding a bouquet. I stared at him coldly, saying nothing. He extended the flowers. Elsie, I've cut Agatha out of my life. Please, come back to me. I only pitied her for being alone in another city. But I really regret everything. Please, just one more chance? I stepped back and spoke calmly. Carrie, the past is the past. But I will never forgive you. His face turned pale, his eyes brimming with tears. Elsie, are you really this heartless? I sighed. Carrie, we're not right for each other. Let's move on. Then I turned and walked into my office, leaving him standing alone at the door. Months had passed before I heard anything about Carrie again. A friend sent me a gossip article. Scorned ex-girlfriend of a corporate executive sets his house on fire out of revenge. The accompanying image showed a charred building engulfed in flames, thick smoke billowing into the sky. Curious, I clicked on the article, and was stunned to see the names Agatha and Carrie. According to the report, Agatha had repeatedly asked Carrie to marry her, only to be rejected every time. Enraged, she stole confidential company data and sold it to a competitor. This devastating betrayal left Carrie's company in ruins, its financial chain severed, teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. His assets shrank overnight. Thinking they had now hit rock bottom together, Agatha assumed he would finally agree to marry her. But instead of giving in, Carrie lashed out at her with a torrent of insults. That night, driven by madness, she set his house on fire. Carrie managed to escape but suffered multiple burns. Agatha was arrested and charged with attempted murder. The internet exploded with discussion. Some called Agatha a lunatic. Some pitied Carrie. Some said he had it coming. My friend, barely hiding their schadenfreude, remarked, I heard Carrie's face is ruined. I didn't respond. My mind drifted back to the first time I met Carrie. At a university social event, he sat timidly in a corner, like a frightened fawn. And for some reason, I was drawn to him. Later, I learned he came from a broken home. His father was a gambling addict who neglected him completely. I felt even more sorry for him. I fell for him, hard. I cherished him, doted on him, wanted to give him the world. But while I poured my heart into our love, singing my soul out, he listened, half asleep. Now, I felt nothing for him. He brought this upon himself. Still, I couldn't help but sigh. Life was unpredictable. When I thought we'd be together forever, he cheated. When I thought he and Agatha might find happiness, they ended up like this. A year later, at an old classmate's wedding, I saw Carrie again. He was shockingly thin. His face had undergone reconstructive surgery, yet the scars of the burns were still visible. He walked straight toward me. I instinctively wanted to step away, but it was too late. Elsie. I looked at him coldly and said nothing. He reached for my hand, gripping it tightly. I miss you so much. Can we start over? My eyes drifted to the burn scars on his arm. Panicked, he pulled his hand back and tried to cover them with his sleeve. Look at yourself, What's left for me to love? His face went pale. Tears welled up in his eyes. I was wrong. I took your love for granted. I was selfish. But now, all I want is to be with you. I frowned in disgust. You cheated on me more than once. You're covered in scars. How do you still have the audacity to ask me to take you back? Carrie, you make me sick. At that moment, the groom, Haley, approached, his face dark with disapproval. Elsie, what's going on? Before I could answer, Carrie wailed. Haley, please help me. I'm begging you, talk to Elsie for me. Haley frowned, clearly unwilling to get involved. He signaled the security staff. Moments later, they escorted Carrie out. I watched him being dragged away, feeling absolutely nothing. The man I once loved with all my heart was now just a stranger. After the wedding, I drove home. Suddenly, a figure darted onto the road. I slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. Heart pounding, I rushed out of the car. Carrie lay motionless on the ground. I inhaled sharply. Was he out of his mind? Cursing under my breath, I still called an ambulance. I wasn't about to let this turn into a legal nightmare. At the hospital, the doctor gave me a grave look. His condition isn't good. He'll need to stay for observation. Then, almost as an afterthought, he added. By the way, he has terminal stomach cancer. It's already spread. At most, he has a month. I froze, my emotions tangled in a complicated knot. When I entered the hospital room, Carrie lay weakly on the bed. Upon seeing me, his eyes lit up. He struggled to sit up, his voice trembling with desperation. I can still get more surgery. I can fix my face. Please, can we start over? I don't love you anymore. No, you're lying. Tears streamed down his face. No one else will love me. If you don't love me, what do I do? He sobbed uncontrollably. I remained unmoved. Choking on his tears, he pleaded. Elsie, please. Stay with me, just for the little time I have left. His eyes were filled with desperation, like a lost child begging for comfort. No. I rejected him without hesitation. I'm getting married. I don't have time for you. His eyes widened in shock. Who are you marrying? I didn't bother answering. I turned and walked away. The moment I stepped out of the hospital room, my phone rang. A gentle voice came through the receiver. Baby. I'm home. Dinner's ready. When are you coming back? I'm on my way. I hung up and started the car. I hadn't lied to Carrie. I really was getting married. His name was Ingram, a friend had introduced us. Handsome, kind, understanding, everything Carrie was not. With Ingram, I found peace and happiness again. We were already planning the wedding. The house was renovated, and all that was left was picking a date. When I got home, a warm dinner was waiting. Ingram, still wearing an apron, smiled at me, a picture of domestic bliss. You're back. He walked over and took my coat. Unable to resist, I threw my arms around him, inhaling the comforting scent of home. Why so late? He gently stroked my back. Got held up by something. I didn't tell him about Carrie. I refused to let the past taint this rare moment of warmth. The next day, Ingram accompanied me to try on wedding dresses. I wore a pure white wedding dress, looking like a fairy descending to the mortal world. You look beautiful, he complimented sincerely. I shyly smiled and replied, you look handsome too. We picked out the wedding dress, and then went to look at the wedding rings. Everything was progressing smoothly. Just as we were about to leave the mall, I spotted Carrie sneaking around. My instincts went on high alert, and I grabbed Ingram's hand, quickly walking towards the parking lot. Ingram noticed my unease and asked in confusion. What's wrong? Why are we walking so fast? I didn't have time to explain. I made sure he was safely inside the car. And only then did I turn around and walk toward Carrie, who was hiding behind a pillar. What do you want? Carrie slowly removed his mask, his eyes red and swollen. I just wanted to see you. Carrie, stop interfering with my life, or I'll call the police. His body trembled, and a look of desperate defiance flashed in his eyes. If I hadn't backed out on the engagement that day, would the person you're marrying now be me? I replied firmly, there is no if. You've already made your choice. It's too late to say anything now. Tears fell from his eyes, and he covered his face, choking on his words. No one loves me anymore. Ingram got out of the car and lovingly draped his arm over my shoulder. Who's this? I glanced at Carrie and said lightly, an insignificant person. Ingram, however, gave Carrie a friendly smile. Hello, I'm Ingram, Elsie's boyfriend. We're getting married on the 12th of this month. If you're free, you can come. Carrie froze. He looked at me, then at Ingram, his eyes filled with mixed emotions. Finally, he silently put his mask back on, lowered his head, and said, You two make a great match. I'll leave now. I turned away, wrapped my arm around Ingram, and returned to the car. I started the engine and drove away from the mall. A week before the wedding, I received a call from the hospital. Carrie was in critical condition. When I hung up the phone, all I felt was relief. In the hospital room, Carrie looked even more emaciated than the last time I saw him. His face was as pale as paper, and his breathing was so weak it was almost inaudible. When he saw me, a faint light flickered in his empty eyes. With all his strength, he reached out, trying to grab hold of me. I stood by the bed, looking down at him without moving. You came, he managed to say in a weak voice. I knew you would come. I impatiently tugged at the corner of my mouth. Carrie's tears silently fell, soaking his pillow. Elsie, I regret it. I really regret it. He slowly raised his hand, wanting to touch my cheek, but it fell weakly back down. After Carrie died, I arranged for the hospital to cremate him, and his ashes were scattered into the sea. On the beach, only a single lily remained. I turned and left the seaside without a trace of longing. The end.